We're going to bring Sharon back right now and talk a little bit more about these services. So, Mary, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
If you have a child under age 3 and you have concerns about your child's development, please contact the Early Start program at Tri-Counties Regional Center. Your child will receive a free developmental evaluation and may be eligible for treatment. Parent education classes about development may also be available to you. Call 1-800-664-3177 and ask for Early Start. We're welcome back Sharon Elmansdorf from in her role at the Kegel Institute. She does lots of things, but she's worked very, very hard with Mary's son, and tell us a little bit about how that was.
Well, I have to say, I started to get a little bit of the chills when I was listening to Mary. I was probably there for one of his first words. So, you know, I'm very proud of the work I did with them, but I think the thing when I think about that time, what I think about the most is really how much Mary was involved. And I think that's really, really important. Again, it's something that, you know, the Kegel Autism Center and PRT, we've always had this philosophy of parent participation and parent education, but I think that's really highlighted in Mary's case that, you know, unfortunately it does fall a lot of times on the parent to be there. Even the amount of hours that we're doing in therapy isn't going to be enough to really get the kids to the next step, and it's a lot of times on the parent to do that. And Mary was one of those model parents who was there for every single session. You know, I would model a technique and then I would have her try it and give her feedback, and she was always very willing to do that, and I knew that when I came back in the next time that she had practiced that throughout the day and was able to incorporate that into, you know, his routine. So really the success that her son Jack has had is a lot on her, but I was lucky enough to kind of go along for the ride and still be involved, you know, with the family and kind of see the success and the progress that he's made.
So with the PRT, can you talk a little bit more about how you train the parents, so that if I were a parent and I'd heard PRT and I'm already in shock from hearing this autism diagnosis, how would you prepare a parent for what they'll be going through?
It's a pretty intense process, and I think you know, parents do have to realize that it's going to be a lot of hours of hard work, and just like any applied behavioral analysis program, you know, it's, like I said, at least usually 5 hours a week, usually more, of either clinicians working directly with the kids or parents working one-on-one. What I think I want parents to walk away with, or to kind of realize going into this, is one, making sure that it's going to be a good fit for them, so talking to the provider and getting a sense of what this program will look like day to day. Now with PRT, a lot of times we use our behavioral techniques in a very naturalistic setting. So, you know, if the kids are interested in playing with a ball toy, which Jack happened to be interested in, and we got lots of video of him doing that, you know, so we'll play with the ball toy and see if we can get him to say the word ball, and then get the natural reinforcer of getting those balls. But, you know, just knowing that it's going to be a lot of hours, making sure the philosophy fits with the philosophy of the parents, and sticking with it. As Mary mentioned, you know, it took a good 4 months for him to start saying some of those first words. So initially, you know, there's lots of tantruming, there's lots of sometimes those disruptive behaviors that we're seeing, but just for parents to keep working at it and, you know, not to give up. But I think also to make sure they're really communicating with whoever they're working with, whether it's a behaviorist or the occupational therapist, and helping make sure that all of the team members are on the same page and kind of doing the same thing.
Well, it's so heartening, of course, to hear early diagnosis, early intervention, involvement of the parents, the tremendous amount of time that it takes. You know, it'd be so much easier if it was just hyperbaric oxygen therapy or chelation or
right.
changing in diet. And you know, certainly we don't recommend that as a sole therapy, but that really what you're doing is such an important part of how change occurs. The brain itself is so plastic and so available for change. With our children, we have Reach Out and Read. We want parents learning how to read to their children, providing proper experience. And this is the same thing, right, to an atomic bomb kind of level. Have you had difficulties with parents where they just would rather not get involved? Do they?
Unfortunately, yes, and you know, it is an interesting kind of dynamic where we are going into the family's home. So again, that's where I say there has to be that goodness of fit, not only with the kind of program that is going to be in home, but also the individuals who are going to be providing that service. But certainly we've had parents who, you know, they are hoping for that kind of miracle cure like a hyperbaric oxygen chamber, and unfortunately with autism there isn't such a thing right now. And in fact, there isn't a lot of evidence to support some of the alternative treatments that are out there. And there is a lot of evidence to support ABA type of therapies, including PRT. But I can just again say to parents, the key is parental involvement and participation in parent education, because that's where and the research we've done at UCSB have seen the most progress is when parents can implement that program on their own without the behaviorists being there throughout the day.
Well, Sharon, thank you so much for helping us to contact these moms and really learn more about early diagnosis and maybe how our pediatricians and family practitioners can do better. Ventura, our babies' brains are really capable of change. The more we do early, the better off we are. Again, reading to your child, making certain they have varied experiences, keeping them safe and nourished, but also if there's something wrong, please, pediatricians, family practitioners, listen to your moms, listen to the parents. They're speaking from their heart, but also from all those kids. They're looking at them all and their nieces and nephews, and they have a lot more sense, and certainly more than the 15 minutes we're allowed with the children. So Ventura, it's time for you to get out there and get moving.